by these young players who took a step forward last year and really got a lot of experience.
And so we tell you who's on the floor right now as Zach Collins dials up the three from the corner for Team Black. Zach Collins out there along with the aforementioned Victor Wembanyama, Trey Jones, along with Devontae Graham and Doug McDermott. And on the other end for Team Silver, Chetty Osman, Malachi Branham just misfiring, Blake Wesley, Charles Bassey, and Devin Vassell. And even that pass, believe it or not, was a little bit out of the reach of Victor Wembanyama.
Wasn't it Trey Jones who said, I haven't thrown one over his head yet in practice?
Yep.
He's thrown two that he hasn't connected here. So, but obvious, that's what the great thing is about these deals is you can work on those kind of things. And, hey, what are the limitations, right?
Victor brings down his first rebound. Trey Jones leading the break, spots Collins in the corner. Extra pass, Devontae Graham, who has never found a shot he did not like, knocks down the triple.
Give credit to Collins there. He had just hit the three in the corner earlier, and that time he passed it up because he knew Graham had a better look.
Devontae Graham had 31 points in his Spurs debut on February the 10th in Detroit. It was the most in a Spurs debut in history. Here's Devin Vassell looking to come back from an injury-plagued season to limit him to 34 games, and Malachi Branham is Johnny on the spot to pick it up and lay it up and in.
One of the things Devin Vassell talked about at Media Day was the fact that he feels like he's a little bit stronger and he wants to be more aggressive in drives to the basket. We saw that there. It resulted in a basket not by him, but by a teammate, but still, we're going to see more of that from him.
So as we're welcoming fans on our Facebook fan group and Facebook page tonight, we are going to play some games. We've got some giveaways. We've got questions throughout the night that we're going to give away some prizes. As Devin Vassell hits the three. And the first question is, where are you watching the game from? Put your answer into the comments section, and the farthest distance from the Frost Bank Center will win a prize. Not a bad way to start this one. Zach Collins has got 2 threes here early on in the first quarter. The format of the Silver and Black Open scrimmage is 4 10-minute quarters, running clock. There'll be a little bit of a break in between quarters and at halftime. Chetty Osman, who came over from Cleveland, where he spent the first 6 seasons of his pro career.
I think it's pretty obvious this team is going to be a much better three-point shooting team from a year ago. Number one, with the improvement of the players that are returning, but then also with people like Osman and some of the others that have joined in here.
Well, got to remember, too, that Zach Collins got a lot more playing time after Jakob Poeltl left, so and he's a guy that can really hit a three at a pretty good percentage, just under 40% last season. So if you've got a big that can step out and do that, and that can create a lot of opportunities perhaps for Wemby as they work in their front court together.
Spurs. Yeah, and just think of the openings that Wembanyama presents, period. That's going to allow all of these players to benefit and have more time to get shots off. It's just really exciting to look forward to that.
So
Dan.
my question for you, Bill, as Victor steps to the line is, how many Wembanyama oh-mamas are we going to hear over the course of the 23-24 season?
I have no idea, but I'm sure social media will let me know what they think. I hope I'm told, shut up. You've said it too many times. What a pleasant problem that'd be, right, Bill?
Absolutely.
Right.
I'm working on my French right now. I've got to figure out certain French words that might fit in.
Dominic Barlow in the game, along with Sandro Mamukelashvili here for Team Silver. It's Devin Vassell. 7 on the shot clock as he rises over the defense of Julian Champagne, who's on the floor for Black. And here's Trey Jones back in transition. Trey coming off career best, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 6.5 assists. And if he can do that consistently, that will be a nice part of his game.
That's the one area of the game where he really needs to improve. Only 29% from three-point range last year. If he's a threat from that distance, it opens up everything else for him.
Malachi Branham, 3-level score, brings it into the paint, kick out. Sandro Mamukelashvili, what a find he was late in the season, coming on board in March and just took the world Spurs Nation, Bill, by storm.
He's a fan favorite. He's one of my favorites because he's a basketball player. And I understand, here you go, I understand how Pop is so fond of him because he knows how to play the game. He can do so many things, and he's perfectly happy with his role, just thrilled to be here.
He hustles, he plays with confidence. He really is a good player, and he was a lot of fun to watch last year. He really gave them a spark, he and Champagne both, when they came in late in the year.
You just saw Victor Wembanyama's first field goal as, I guess unofficially, a member of the Spurs here in this Silver and Black scrimmage, as We'll get substitutions both ways. The other Spurs rookie, Sidi Sissoko, will actually take out Victor Wembanyama here.
And Serge Rice, who played last year at the University of Texas.
Sidi Sissoko, who was selected 44th overall in the second round in the draft as Julian Champagny rises. Well, Champagny, Bill, you talked about how he came on late in the season, really continued that in Summer League. He averaged 14 points and shot it at a great clip from beyond the arc on the Spurs Summer League team out in Vegas.
Well, in his cameo appearance late in the season last year with the Spurs, he played 15 games and shot 41% from three-point range. And he had a big game in Sacramento. I think he scored 26 in that game. And he shoots it with confidence. That's what I like about this guy. You know, he's a New Yorker, went to St. John's, and he's got a little bit of that swagger. But I really like Champagny, and I think that he's going to be a guy that will really fight for some playing time with that second unit.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that, because he spent more than 1 year in college, he automatically was a little bit more comfortable. And when Pop always tells these guys, hey, just do what you do and you'll fit in, he's one of those guys that took that to heart.
Zach Collins fouled inside.
Or was that a goaltend or a foul? I think it was a goaltend. No, but you're right, it was a foul. You know, it's interesting. Zach hit a couple of threes already in this game, and now he goes inside. And his versatility is going to be really important. And again, one of the things we talked about earlier is him working with Wemby and how that whole dynamic is going to work. And I think that's something to really keep an eye on early in the season.
By the way, we want you to be participants listening at home or wherever around the world you may be tuning in here tonight. Give us your questions. Drop them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them over the course of the broadcast here. We're down to 2 minutes in the opening quarter with Black on top, 19-14. Zach Collins, couple threes, and now a free throw to extend the lead to 6. Zach in his 6th season out of Gonzaga, now in his 3rd season with the Spurs after averaging 11.6 rebounds a year ago. There's Serge Rice. His first field goal attempt, that's knocked out of bounds, and it'll belong to Team Black.
Looks like Matt Nielsen is now coaching the Black team, the veteran assistant coach now from Australia.
And he's got Brett Brown down there with him. And
because they speak Australian, both of them.
Yeah, and he's got Manu.
Zach Collins got Dominic Barlow off his feet and drives it right down Main Street for the flush.
That outside threat, you got to close on him, and he can do that. And Zach played with such confidence last year. It was really a great bounce-back year for him.
And a chance for Dominic Barlow at the other end as he hands off here to Devin Vassell. Into the corner, and now Barlow gets his chance as he pulls Collins out along the baseline, leaves it short. But Dominic Barlow ended the season on a tremendous note. He nearly became the first teenager since Dwight Howard to have a 2020 game, Bill, in Dallas.
It was 2019. He dominated that game. He was just all over the place, and we got him on postgame on the radio, and he had no idea that he was so close to history.
Well, and Bill mentioned it before, Dan, that one of the fun parts of the season that I didn't anticipate was that final road trip where the Spurs knew their fate as Doug McDermott gets the dunk. But those young guys getting 25, 30 minutes of playing time, playing so well, they denied Sacramento to a celebration of their playoff night. They won, of course, the game in Dallas that Dallas didn't want to win. The Spurs put it to them. But there was a lot of fun that you wouldn't think you would be saying that on a team that finished with the kind of record that they had.
Very good point. And there was something we saw from Devin Vassell, a little floater from about 15 feet, you know, and that off of that penetration that he talked about during the media day where he's going to try to get inside the lane a little bit more, so that's certainly good to see.
As the first quarter comes to an end, Team Black with a 24-16 lead over Silver, and this place already electric. Bill, you and I drove in together, and watching the number of fans lined up to get into the building was almost as if it was a playoff atmosphere before the season had even started.
Yeah, and understand, we know San Antonio loves the Spurs, but just finished a thrilling Oklahoma-Texas football game. The Astros and Rangers are in baseball playoffs. There's a ton of college football still going on, and yet here are people just so anxious to get a look at this team in their rawest form.
Yeah, and the anticipation obviously palpable when you win the first overall pick and the generational player that it is in the 19-year-old Victor Wembanyama. And the Spurs general manager Brian Wright's going to join us a little bit later on here on the broadcast to kind of talk about the offseason that it was and the plan that is, but it certainly is interesting to see that the Spurs as a core kind of added Victor and now want to see what they have around him as they progress forward over the course of the next few seasons.
Yeah, and I think it's an absolute perfect fit. What team wouldn't say that, right? But I say it because of the Spurs and the youth of their team and where they are full and what they've got coming in future drafts and just the whole Spurs culture. He is a great fit with this team and this city.
And wouldn't you know it, speak of the devil, Spurs general manager Brian Wright on cue joins us up here for the Silver and Black Scrimmage